Okay, I'm recording this video because I'm having a few problems, and I think my problems are in Max and not in After Effects. I think what I've done in After Effects, as you can see, I've already got import. Okay, right. Okay, I can see I've imported this in, but it didn't track properly again. So now I've decided to record a video to show what I'm doing in Max because I don't think it's working. So here we are. I've already tracked the scene. I've got my camera, which is there, and I've got my null object, which is here. As you can see, it's I've put it by the feet. If I just give a demonstration, I'll just play this track through, and you can see that the null object is stuck perfectly. It's a very good track. It's not moving at all. It's following through quite well. So now I know my track is okay. I've got to export my camera and null to max. So I'll do that now. So I've got to select the camera and I've got to select the null object only, as the instructions say. Now, first of all, I've got to go to my script, AEX 3D exporter. Here we go. 3ds Max. Options 1, 2, 1. Click close and I will export. Okay, now that's exported, that should be on my desktop. Let's check it is. Yes, there it is. Now I'm going to pause the video here while I go into Max because it takes an awful long time to come up. So here we go, I'm going to pause it now and I'll be back in Max in a second. Okay, now I'm back in Max. This is actually my 5th attempt at doing this. The first time obviously went wrong. The second time went wrong. The third time I was recording this to show you what went wrong, and I did it right and then realised I did it wrong. And now this is, yeah, I've lost count of how many times I've done this now. So I'm gonna start from scratch. I've hidden all my scene objects so that I can work on the camera before I do anything. So here we are. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to load in my Max script, which will bring the camera in. It's on my desktop and it should be here. Okay, let's open up. Now here we are. We've taken in my camera and my null object. So now I'm going to follow the instructions step by step. Actually, yeah, step by step. Here we go. So here we are. I've put the instructions in Word to make it easier. Right. Now the best way is to create a scene dummy. That's what I'm going to do. One scene dummy coming up, and here we are, scene dummy. And the next thing it says to do in the instructions is pivot it on the XY position and rotation to the camera. I presume I've got to set the X, Y and Z to 0 before I do that. I'm guessing I have to set the X, Y and Z to 0. Oh, align the pivot. Align the pivot, right. So I presume, I'm supposed to 0 the X, Y and Z first, which should make it align with the camera There we are, so it's there on top of the camera. So I presume that's right. Let's take a closer look and make sure. And then we have to align the camera. I think to do that I would have to affect pivot and align the camera. Pivot point, and click OK. So now they should both be aligned. So I'll just check this now. I'll select my camera and affect pivot point. Blue up, green left. Let's check my dummy. And we have which means my pivot isn't aligned. I can see that. just check why it isn't aligned. I thought doing what I've just done would have aligned it. So we've got blue up, green to the left. So my box, effect pivot. So we need to rotate that round 90 degrees, I believe, to and then I think to get the blue up, you have to rotate it round this. Rotate it round that way. Now I think that should be right now then. So the camera now. So I'm taking a long time. I'm just making sure I get this right. So my camera's got blue up, green to the left, and my box has got blue up, green to the left. So they should be aligned. But I do notice that the camera is slightly out. It's not quite. So why it didn't? Okay. I'm going to try this again. So I'm going to select my pivot and align it to the camera pivot using a line. So that should work. Position, pivot. Axis as well. There we go. I'll click OK. Now they should be exactly aligned in theory. So we'll just check my camera. Effect pivot. Oh dear, my axis crashed. Blue. I don't have to click on effect pivot. Blue, green. Check my dummy. Blue, green. It's fine. So now that is perfectly aligned, in my view. So I'll save that. Check the instructions again. And rotation to the AE camera. So my dummy is exactly aligned to the camera. So the next thing I'm going to do is link the AE camera to the scene dummy. So we'll link the AE camera, which is that one, to the scene dummy, and that should now be linked. We'll just check that, make sure it's linked. Select my dummy and move it. They are linked. Control Z, put it back where it was. Next instruction. Then link the scene dummy to the AE null. Right. Link the scene dummy to the AE null, which is that, and save my progress. Next instruction. Right. Link the scene dummy to the AE null. Next, open the rotation floater for the AE null. The rotation. Right. We'll click on the AE null. Hang on, I've still got the link on. So we'll just make sure that I haven't destroyed the link by mistake there. So we'll just test this out by moving this again. Yes, I've accidentally destroyed the link I did in the last instruction. So then link the scene dummy to the AE null, which I'll do again because I've messed it up. Scene dummy to the AE null. There we go. I'll just make sure they're linked by moving the scene dummy. Sorry. I'll just make sure they're linked by moving this. Yes, they are linked. Control and Z, put it back where it was. Okay, so that bit's fine now. Next instruction. Set the A null's rotation to 0, 0, 0. Okay, that's what we're going to do next. Select the rotation and set it to 0, 0, 0. And magically that has rotated everything to the correct orientation. This is a bit I forgot to do last time I did this, I'm sure I did. Right, switch the floater to position and set to 0, 0 in walled space. So position, and it's OD in walled space, so that's fine. Okay. Perhaps I shouldn't have added in walled space already. It doesn't matter. Well, I hope it doesn't matter. I'm not sure. I'll probably find out after. Anyway, so now that's 0, 0, 0 in walled space. I should save it there. So now in theory I should be able to move this. The camera moves. So let's unhide everything else. Unhide all. and there's my land. So go into perspective view, and we'll go to the camera view so we can see if it's lined up or not. Camera tracker. Right, so as you can see, we do need to move the camera forward a bit. So rather than move the camera, we can click on the null, and we'll move that forward. I believe this top square is where her feet's supposed to be, because I put it on. In After Effects it's just a square, but in the null becomes a cube. So I'm presuming the top of this cube is where her feet should be. So if I move this down, she should be standing about there. So now if I press play on this camera, I'm hoping that we get, yeah, possibly that camera should come out a little bit. So we're just going to move it back a little bit so that she's got room to stand there. No, about there. Let's just test the track. And here we go. It would help if I click on the actual window. And here. So that's really where she should be standing, about there, and the camera should be tracking around it. Perhaps it needs to go down a little bit lower. I'll just a tiny bit lower. Try that, and we'll give it a go. Hopefully that will work. Oh, I just noticed towards the end here that we're getting a bit of so we'll move that down a little bit. I have to move it in a little bit because we don't want that will spoil the illusion. There we go. Let's try it one more time. Just make sure there's no gap showing of and it would help if I click on this one, wouldn't it? There we go. Let's check that. But it's really where her feet should be. I don't know why, but it seems to me that the square is too big in relation to the screen. So I'm not sure if I'm doing this right or not. The trouble is I won't know until I render out all my frames, which will probably take an hour. I've already done this once, and that's so long to send this video in. Okay, I'm gonna save that because I think that track's all right. Now render setup. My output video is actually 1280 by 180, as you can see, but if I render at that resolution, it's going to take a long time to render just for a test render. So I'm going to render at half the resolution and upscale it in After Effects. About 600, which will render quicker. We're going to do the active time segment, and I'm going to start rendering that. I will come back when I've rendered this, because obviously this is going to take about an hour to render. And once I've rendered it, I'm going to load it into After Effects and see what happens. Okay, here I am now, a couple of hours later after the render. Watched the film and stuff, you know, come back and... Anyway, as you can see, it's all rendered out. It looks quite nice, smooth animation. I tried it out just now. But here we are, back in After Effects. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to get my frames into the scene. So here we go. Opened up my frames, and I will drag them into the composition to make a composition. Oh, I'm getting good at this. And here we are. Now, obviously, we'll go back into my main composition, drag that composition in. Yeah, it's going to come in small because obviously we did it at half size video. So now I've got to sort that out. Back into my composition here, and we'll go to the composition size, composition settings. Now the main video is 1280. I'm doing the lock ratio because I'm by 1. Is that correct? Pretty sure that's correct. So my composition is now the right size. Let's just check that setting is right. Yeah, so the composition is now the right size, but obviously it's still too small. So go back to here. I think I've got to click on here. I'll go to transform probably. Comp. Here we are. So now that size of that now matches the comp, even though it's lower quality, of course. So Here we go. After all the failure I've had, I don't think I'm going to be successful. Let's do a RAM preview, which is obviously going to take some time. And while the RAM preview is working, instantly I can see it's still not working. Along the line somewhere, I've done something wrong. So I don't know what I've done wrong. Problem is now I've got 3 parts to this video now I'm going to have to put together, and I will post them somewhere you can see them. I thought I'd done everything right. Even when I previewed the render before I took it in here, the frames of the moon, it seemed to be rotating almost in a... I pretty much think it's not the tracking which is the problem. I think it is something I've done wrong in Max, and it's very annoying. I thought I did everything right, but she's still sliding. She's not sliding as much as she was. And again, if I stuck my hand over the bottom of the camera, you'd almost think it was right, but I don't think it's going to work. So I'm just going to wait for this RAM preview to finish, and then we can see it properly. Any second now, and we can see the failure it is. Here we go. Here we go. And yes, she's still sliding across the floor. And I'm very annoyed. I thought I had it licked this time. I thought that was it. Camera was flat. Plane was flat. And another fail. Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you can see where it went wrong and put me right. Bye.